I love this idea of like being self-aware because you could
Mhm.
say all the right things, right? Like you can say
Mhm.
all the buzzwords. I love collaborating. I want us to be
Mm.
a team. I want us to be a family. I want this to be a fun place to work. But if you're not bringing the fun, then what are you doing? Like, is your team supposed
Right.
to bring the fun for you?
Hi, I'm Cheryl Medeiros.
And I'm Colleen Hungerford, and this is We're Doing This Right, right? A podcast for the whole woman, mind, body, soul, and business.
It's humor infused, as real as it gets, inspiring, and you'll walk away with real usable tools for life and business.
If you love what you're hearing, please share with a friend, subscribe so you'll never miss an episode, and rate and review whenever you listen.
So find your earbuds, lace up your walking shoes, or cozy up with a beverage of your choice. It's time to dig in.
Well, this should be an episode about resiliency, Colleen, because we've had a few false starts here trying to get this episode
What
recorded.
the fuck? Okay, let's just start. We're going to talk about leadership, everybody. It's going to be great. We're great leaders.
I have a question. Is leadership
Yeah.
a skill, a mindset, or a calling? What do you think?
I feel like that's a trick question. I think it's all three.
That's what I think.
Yeah. Who
I
said it was
agree.
only one of them?
I think
Nobody?
that's just the hook. That's just the hook I was bringing
Oh.
people in with, Colleen. Get
Oh.
with the times.
Oh, I thought you were trying to trick me. I thought this was a trick question. No, I think it's all
No.
three. I think there is skill to leadership,
Yep.
100%. I
Mm-hmm.
think there is mindset to leadership,
Absolutely.
1,000%. What was the last one?
A calling.
Inherent, a calling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I think some
so.
people just have a natural calling or a natural knack for it. And then it can be developed through skills and mindset as well.
Yeah, I think there are leaders who aren't inherently leaders, right?
Hmm.
And they learn those skills, but I think there are people who just have that calling, have that just kind of built into who they are and their personality. And I think it starts to show, right? Like that's always me. Like, and I don't, like I think about when I played sports, like I wasn't the best on the team, but I was always the captain, right?
Right.
Because I
Hmm.
could people like I just could lead and people liked that or
Right.
whatever. I don't know.
You were magnetic, you were inspirational,
Yeah.
those things that are important for leadership.
Yeah. Tell me the quote that you got at the retreat that you were just on because I like it.
I love it. So there's this mentality, if you will. I got this from one of the panels I went to. Train your team so they could leave, but treat them so they'll never want to.
Yeah. I think
I love
that's
that.
awesome. I really like that because, you know, we all know I was on a team and I left, right? And I always looked at that as, from my point of view, is like, well, look at how well I did here, that I can like spread my wings and go out on my own. Look at how well I was trained here. And that's just not always a viewpoint that people see. There's a lot of leaders who are like, well, I trained you and now you're just going to leave me. Like it's a weird thing that some people, it's a weird viewpoint in my opinion that some people have, right? I just, if I if somebody on my team has done so well and is so successful that they should go out on their own, like
Pat on your
that's like,
back.
yeah, that's something I want to hang my hat on. Like that's really cool. That's the product that I've been able to help. And what a, as a, even as like a recruiting mechanism, that's a great thing as a team leader. Like, look at how well I've trained these people. Now they're out here, running successful teams themselves. Right
Right.
now, as a team lead, if you're not abundant, if you don't have an abundance mindset, it might feel like you're running through agents every 3 to 5 years or something like that, right? Like your turnover rate is really high.
Hmm.
But it's also who you're recruiting and how you're training them and all of
And how
that.
you're treating them once
And how
they're
you're
there.
yeah.
Yeah. And in a perfect world, we'll train the best of the industry. And then provide so many amazing resources and make their life so easy that they don't ever want to leave us. Like
Right.
that's the dream. But I want them all to be able to do that because that means they're good at their job. They're great at their job. And the people that are going to be the most like successful, like they probably have the personality that eventually will want to go out on their own.
Yeah, I think, and I've talked about this in building my own team. It's like the go-getters will want to leave. Like
Hmm.
we have a team leads meeting now at my brokerage. And it's like talking about like when you're recruiting, the people who are going to come and they want to get it and they want to go after it, most likely are the people that are going to leave. And that's okay. Like that's a good thing, right? That you can help them grow and they can grow and be successful when they're with you and then they go on. Now, there are also people who want to be on a team. They don't want to run their own. And that's okay too. But those two people, this is a generalization, but those two people are probably not going to have the same type of production. Does that make sense?
It
Like
does.
like the people who want to be on the team for a certain reason. They want support, they need support, they can't commit 100% of their time, so they want to have members to help, teammates to help them. They're not looking. This blew my mind one time. I remember I was talking to an agent and she was like, yeah, I mean, I sell about $12 million of volume a year, which is good. That's fantastic, especially in
Yeah.
my market. That's great. She's like, but I don't really need to sell any more than that. Once I sell that, I'm content. And you know me, I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, what? Like you just stop? Like what? Like once you sell 12 million, you're just like done? But there are there are obviously people like that. And they could just and she was a solo agent, but there are going to be people on your team or team members that that's all they want to do, right? And
Right.
I shouldn't say that's all they want to do. That's what they want to do, right?
Right.
Like
I think part of that is probably timing in people's lives too. Like there could be a real
sure.
go-getter where, I mean, if I look back to the years that I was in my childbearing years, like my goal professionally was survive. So
Yeah.
like this is bare minimum I needed to hold on to my job in these years.
Yeah.
And that was it. But also I was working for someone else. I think that mentality would be harder when you are working for yourself. So Alex and I have been having this ongoing conversation about once my business hits a certain production level, will he leave his job? And that's kind of been the goal. And so I kind of lately have been feeling like you're really going for a director level position, which is great, but that makes me think maybe you don't think I'm going to hit this or you're not really going to leave that
Oh.
job. Which is it? And he challenged me back and he said, well, I want you to think about this. Whether or not I'm leaving my job, would you really do anything different in your business? Because I'm trying to grow so much. And I'm like, that's fucking
Mm.
beside the point because obviously not. I just am who I am and I'm going to fucking
Yeah.
grind
Yeah.
because I enjoy it and it's fulfilling and I'm great at it. And
Yeah.
people are lucky to work with me because I take phenomenal care of them. So shout out to Cheryl Madero, San Luis Obispo real estate agent.
As you
But
should.
I mean, I'm like, that's a good point. I don't really have it in me to phone it in or half-ass it or be fine with a certain level of production. Like I want more.
I
I
have a
want more.
hard yeah, I think I agree. I was going to say, and we need to probably bring it back to leadership, but I was just going to say, I have a hard time. And I see this in the people who do become leaders. And I think it's a skill that when we talk about leadership and being a skill that's learned, like when you become a team lead, and this is part of my ethos, if you will, as a team lead, if my team, let's say, sells $20 million, right? I don't want to be selling 15 million of that 20 million, right? Like
Hmm.
if I'm supporting my team and I'm helping my team and helping them grow and develop their business, they should be like the team itself. Because I'm now, as of June, we're going to be a team of 6, really, actually. If I have 5 other people on my team that are only selling 5 million and I'm over here selling 15, I'm not going to have the time, energy, or wherewithal to support them the way that they need to grow, right? But it's
Mhm.
also a mindset and a trick and a whatever and an abundance. And Susie has talked about this a lot. Like, how do you let that go? Like, how do you let the production side of your business go and transition into leadership? Because I've seen it. I've been on that
Mhm.
team, and you can't lead, right?
Right.
You
Mhm.
can't mentor, you can't help them grow, you can't sit down with them and help them put their marketing plan together. You can't sit down with them and help them think and put together their business plan and talk about it in like show them how to do an open house or show them how to do. You can't do that if you're still top producing.
Right.
Like maybe you can, I just don't know, and it doesn't make sense to me in my mind. I should be supporting my team and they should be producing, and anything
Mhm.
else that I do is like also producing. But there's a
Gravy.
guy, yeah, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm totally wrong, maybe there's a way to do both. But I guess when I intentionally wanted to build a team, I wanted to build a team because I like seeing people grow and develop, right?
Mhm.
That is
Mhm.
fulfilling to me. I have had great success, and real estate has changed my life in so many ways. And I want that for other people. And maybe that's a different approach than other team leads take. I'm not sure.
Well, there's so many different models, specifically in our industry, where, are you the rainmaker? Are you,
Yeah.
like, are you the mentor leader? Are you leading from
Hmm.
the back? I think there's just so many ways to do it. But what do you think? I asked you this before. I know it was going to be a hard question. Do you have an example in your mind of a great leader that you've worked with and what made them a great leader?
I guess yes. When you first asked me, I was like, oh God, there
Lots of
was
bad examples. Lots of
lots of
bad examples.
lots of bad examples. But if I really think about it, so there is a man, his name is Dean Kleinschmidt, and he is an athletic trainer. This was back when I was in college as an athletic trainer. And he was, oh my God, so he was an NFL athletic trainer for like 32 years. He was in the NFL Hall of Fame. He was in the Athletic Training Hall of Fame. And he came, his son played at IU at Indiana University. And our former head athletic trainer had been reassigned for whatever reason, the coach reassigned. So he came in, and for 2 years, I think, but his first year was my senior year. He came in as head athletic trainer. And this man was phenomenal. And he treated every person from, the custodian to the head coach with so much respect and so much kindness to the students, and one of the things that I loved about him is we called him the mayor, and he went around and he talked to everybody. He was making relationships with everybody all the time. He was, having lunch with the coach. He was sitting over here with the equipment guy. He was, always
He
right,
was
creating
shaking
relation.
babies and kissing hands.
Yes, exactly. Don't shake a baby. But he was also a really good teacher. And so he would teach you, like these old tricks that he'd learned from being in the business for so long. He was not a technical kind of guy, right? Athletic training is in the medical field. So he wasn't like, okay, well, this is why this works for an ankle sprain. He was like, I've been doing this for 32 years, and experience tells me this works. Can I break down the science behind the biology behind it? No. Like he probably could. But he's like, this is what I've been doing. Here's what I've learned. Here's what I do. And the other thing, and this is huge, I think for leaders, is he gave us autonomy. Like he, even as students, like I was 21 years old, and in football, the linemen, the big guys, for those of you who don't not familiar with football, I was in charge of the offensive line. So the big guys that protect the quarterback, right? These are big guys. These are all guys that are usually over 6 foot and over 300 pounds. Okay. They
Hmm.
all wear knee braces. And these are knee braces that are thousands of dollars each. And he said, Colleen, you're in charge of the knee braces. You need to order them. You need to get everybody fitted. You need to do this, blah, 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 blah. Shit that I was not supposed to be doing, by the way, because I was 21 years old and we're a public institution and we were supposed to bid this all out because we're a state school or whatever. but he just let me do it. He had so much trust and so much respect for us that he just like let us run things. And if we fucked up, he would help us, you know? So, I mean, I admire him so much and I learned so much from him. And I think one of the best things about him as a leader is that like it was the way that he made you feel,
Mhm.
right? Like he made you feel important. He made you feel like you didn't want to let him down. He made you feel like you wanted to do so well for him in a non-punitive way, because he was not really like a punitive kind of guy. And that is the type of leadership that if I really think about, that's what I aspire to be like.
So when I was at my insurance job, I had 5 leaders, 5 managers over my career. They
Okay.
turned over a lot because I was there for 12 years. My first leader was a very young guy, and he wasn't led to know how he should be doing this job. So, really, very little, not, he wasn't it. Leader number 2 was a much older, he's like my dad's age. He had a lot of experience being in management. So he knew how to lead, in that he knew how to make me feel seen and respected. He was fun to be around. I enjoyed working for him. I was motivated. If he had a goal that he wanted to hit, I wanted to hit it because I
Yeah.
liked him. He was not a very technical, like my career did not
Yeah.
grow him. He was not a technical leader. He was just
Okay.
an enjoyable leader that I maintained a relationship with, still a friend to this day. Leader number 3, a little more gruff, but got her hands dirty, and that we're not just going to tell you what the goal is. We're going to sit down and we're going to break down how you actually achieve it. And
Right.
like would get her hands dirty, would go through the list with me, would like I learned so much from her. That was fabulous. She was a little bit catty and bitchy. Not my favorite. It's like I couldn't
Yeah.
get everything out of a single leader at that
Yeah.
company that I went to. I got different things at different times, but I definitely was able to see some skills, like the willingness to get your hands dirty and not ask you to do something. You know, this is an adage as old as time, but like never ask your team to do something you wouldn't do,
Right.
depending on what your job is or what career path what type of business you have. If you wouldn't clean the toilets, you probably shouldn't ask your employee to clean the toilets. You know, like
Yeah.
you need to show that you're willing to get your hands dirty, I think, to be really inspirational and like get the buy-in from your team. Go ahead.
I was going to say the other thing that I'm really learning as a leader and recognized prior to this, and I think, we talk about it quite a bit, but like the fact that we played sports all growing up really does help you so much, right? You just so much experience as far as like being on a team and being a part of a team, having a leader, being a leader, all of those things. Anyway, is that you as a leader, you can, but for me, it didn't work when the leader mm, treated everyone the same, if you know what I mean. Like
I do
I
know what you mean.
like you want to treat everyone fairly, but everyone is different, right?
Everybody
Like
has different things. It's like parenting your kids. You can't parent them all the same.
correct. Like I am never a person, and this is where I think it's so important to like why you do these different types of assessments, why you do the Clifton strengths or whatever or the Enneagram or human, whatever it is, right? Like why it's important to invest in that part of your understanding about your team members, because I was never someone you needed to push, never somebody you needed to harp on, never somebody you needed to. And when you did, I, I,
Got the
I
opposite result.
it was the opposite result. I was like, oh, fuck you. Like,
Hmm.
I'm not going to do this anymore. Or it was like, why don't you trust me? Or I'm doing the things, like, why are you like, just like, let me do my thing and I'll be
Right.
good. That
Right.
autonomy was something that I needed. If I had questions, I always went and asked for help. If I needed help, I would go for it. Right. But then there's other people who need a push. They need clear direction. And it's interesting. I'm trying to, as I'm adding more to my team, like it's figuring out what each one of these team members needs, right? One team member, she had some good success right away. She's a brand new agent, had some clients right away, like first couple months of being an agent, which if you're not in real estate, like that's pretty awesome, right? But what it meant is that she hadn't learned yet how to go out and get business. And that is, so now we're a year in and we have to teach her how to go out and get business, right? Like when it just comes to you right away, that's not something that's consistent, right? But what we're realizing with this particular agent is we have to give her very specific goals and tasks and tell her exactly like, okay, this week you have to talk to 10 people and we want you to write their names down and we want you to do this and then we need to do this. And she responded really well to that. Now, if you had told me that, I would have been like, okay, I'll do that, but this is fucking stupid. Don't tell me what to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
And so it's really understanding and being, God, there is a quote where, and you can lead, you can say it's this way. You can be a leader who says, this is how I do things. And if you don't want to do it that way, then this is not the team for you. You could do that. You can do that. Or you can be the leader who meets people where they're at and helps them figure out their path. I think either way you can do that. It's whatever you want to do as a leader, right?
A very clear example I saw of this, how you can't lead everybody the same, was with that first manager I had in the insurance job. And he sent the same email to the entire team. I think he had 9 of us that were on his team. And I saw the email for what it was. He was getting pressure from above for us to perform on a certain metric. And so he just sent an email out, like writing everybody's ass on this. And I was like, okay, I can see that for what that is. Obviously, this is the goal we're supposed to be working towards. Cool.
Right.
I have a buddy that was in the neighboring territory who was like, did you see that email from him? I can't believe he would send it. I'm doing all of this. And he was rubbed so wrong by it because he just couldn't see it for what it was. And he needed like a very different approach.
Yeah.
He needed to be like massaged to get him to where he needed to be. And it was just so clear watching that. And that was one of the reasons this manager wasn't a very strong leader, is he didn't recognize that yet, that everybody has different needs. Everybody's motivated by different things. Everybody's put off by different things. And being a good leader is understanding your team.
Yeah.
Exactly how you've said. So I've got a couple other examples of things that make a good leader that I'd like to break down.
Okay.
Clarity of vision.
Yes, like we talked about with
to,
Susan. Yes.
and the ability to convey that vision with conviction to your team in a way that gets them excited and motivated and bought in on the group, the team, the business's vision. That's really a mission statement. Susie's favorite thing.
I think
Gotta
this is
have a
so
mission.
important. Yeah. Like one of the things that I do now when I'm talking to agents that maybe have approached me about being on my team is I tell them my vision for the team straight out the bat, And one of the first things I tell them is my goal and why I work so hard is I have an 11-year-old daughter. And when my daughter goes to college, I want to be able to go visit her no matter what. Right.
She needs me, I'm there.
She needs me, I'm there, regardless of time, money, anything, blah, blah, blah. That's why I work so hard. That's why I'm putting this team together. That's why I'm doing these things, right? Those are my goals. That's why I want to build a team that is so supportive of all of we support each other so that everyone else can have that also, right? I don't want that just for me. That's my personal goal, but I want that for everybody, right? It's you don't have to take your laptop on vacation example, right? And when you also start to tell your story, I think that that's important too. Like part of being a leader is there's some inspiration there, right? Like people want what you've done, want to do what you've done. That's why they're coming to you. You know, like I have a new guy who's coming on and he's got like for me, I'm like, this is such a great story, if you will, but like, how do I help this guy go from being a truck driver to selling $1 million homes? That's what I want for him. That's what it doesn't have to be $1 million homes. He can sell whatever kind of homes he wants. But like, how do I get him from this into a field where he can start a family with his wife? He can have some quote unquote flexibility. He can have some financial stability. He can X, Y, and Z, right? Like, but really, I don't want to say build the story, but kind of build the story for them. Like get them invested in what you have done, what your mission is, what you're doing. And then they're so excited that they want to work hard for that,
Right.
right? They see the top of the mountain, they see the vision, they see it, and they want to work towards that. Now you have to
Right.
deliver. Like I'm
Right.
always like, I don't want to be a snake oil salesman or something like that, right?
Right.
Like I'm very
Yeah.
conscious of that. So it's so many of these components that we've talked about with Susie a bunch of times. Is like putting that vision out there, but making sure that people believe it, like they understand
Hmm.
it, they want to be a part of
Hmm.
it. And if they don't, then
Yeah. All the
that's
time with when I see like my husband's department start to break down that he manages, I'm like, have you collectively built a mission for your department? Like each department within that he manages, I feel like they should collectively build that mission together because then they're all marching to the same beat towards the same destination. Like how
right.
important is that? Alex gets to set the goals and like has the vision and like know the metrics that they're measuring, but if they can collectively decide how they're doing that together, I think that's a super valuable thing. Okay, number two, emotional intelligence and self-awareness.
So important.
Yeah, because if you're not looking in the mirror, you're saying do this, but you're over here doing that. There's so many places, or like you're just kind of toxic. You're just kind of an asshole, and you don't have the emotional intelligence to realize, like I need to treat somebody differently. And it's almost too like everybody needs to be managed differently. Like taking the time to figure out how they need to be managed and not being so egotistical or narcissistic that you can't see what everybody else needs and how you might be coming across to them. One of my favorite things is when something's not going right, as a leader saying, I must not have explained this correctly. And then jumping into it so that you immediately are taking them off the defense and you're owning whatever your part might be in it.
I love this idea of like being self-aware, because you could
Hmm.
say all the right things, right? Like you can say
Hmm.
all the buzzwords. I love collaborating. I want us to be a team. I want us to be a family. I want this to be a fun place to work. But if you're not bringing the fun, then what are you doing? Like, is your team supposed
Right.
to bring the fun for you? Like,
Right.
is your team supposed to bring like, there is such a disconnect sometimes with some
Hmm.
people when they say all the right things, but then their actions are not. And it's just what you're talking about, right? Their actions are not saying those things. And I have a really hard time with that. I have a really hard time in this industry. And I know we're not just talking to realtors. So like, but this is where my experience is right now. There's so much talk about collaboration and so little real intentional action when it comes to collaboration. Collaboration is such a buzzword, and in every single brokerage, right?
Hmm.
Every single person, we're all talking about collaborating, but like when it comes down to it, what does that really mean? What does that
Hmm.
look like for people? I think that comes from leadership, right?
Hmm.
If your leader's not collaborating, if your leader's not bringing the fun, if your leader's not like
Hmm.
it makes it tough. It
Yeah.
makes it tough. Okay, so
Okay.
practice
Thoughts
what you
on
preach.
being a servant leader. Do you know what it means? Be a servant
I
leader.
mean,
I've got a
I
very short
guess
definition, but like serving your mission and serving your team. And that, honestly, that kind of comes back to that quote of teach them so they could leave, but treat them so they never would.
it's like teach them to fish and they'll never go hungry. I guess, yes. I guess I would agree with that. I don't disagree with that by any means.
Right.
But I
Right.
also
I think
think
it was
like,
overused buzzword there for a long time, but I do like
oh
the
my God.
behind the scene of like, it's essentially, like I said, back to that quote, I'm going to treat you in a way that you're never going to want to leave me. I'm going to serve you. I'm going to provide you tools. I'm
Hmm.
going to provide you training. I'm going to provide you resources. I'm going to be here for you on your hard day and on your good day to celebrate your wins. Like I'm here to serve. And I was just coming from the Compass Retreat where, Robert stands up there and says that we're his end client. the agents.
Right.
We're his end
Right.
client, which is true.
Right.
So he should
Yeah.
be serving me. That should be the type of leadership. And while as a team leader that's still producing, my clients are my clients, my buyers and my sellers, but to an extent, like, yeah, I have sold my team on my team. So I do also need to service them as well.
Yeah.
I'm here
Yeah,
for
I
it.
like it.
I get
I'm
it.
here for it. I like it. I like the idea. I think there is but I think that's it, to me, I guess for me, that's what leadership is.
Right. Yes, I agree.
That's just what it is.
Okay,
Okay.
decisiveness, the ability to make hard decisions and then owning the calls that you make.
Mhm. Yeah. Like, agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do that.
Yes.
Agree. I mean,
Yes.
yeah, you got to do that. I think if you're a leader, like, you can't be wishy-washy. I mean, you can. It just makes everything a little bit harder. I think somebody who tends to be a leader is somebody who already kind of has that mentality. I mean,
Hmm.
I think in those decisions, you have the hardest part of that is making the tough decisions. And that's when it comes to, like, maybe you have to let somebody go, or maybe this isn't the right fit, or maybe you have to work through, like, firing a client with somebody, or maybe you have to work through, being let go by a client, like, or, all of those, like, tough decisions. The quick decisions, I think, for me, at least, that's easy, right? Great. Just make a decision. Let's move on. But I
Hmm.
think the handling of the tough decisions and supporting people in those tough decisions is a skill.
I also think having the difficult conversations,
Mhm.
not shying away from a conversation that is just going to be uncomfortable to have. Just come at things with open, honest communication. Like,
Mhm.
easier said than done, 100%
Sure.
of the time.
Yeah.
But that is a mission that I have put in front of myself this year, is to not shy away from difficult conversations across the board in my life. Is I'm just no longer going
Yeah.
to sugarcoat things. Like, we need to put the hard stuff out there so that the hard stuff can be handled. I mean, I
Right.
just did it with my husband this weekend. He did not like what I had to say to him this weekend. And
Yeah.
I said to him, if I'm saying this to you because I love you and I'm invested in us. If I
Yeah.
wasn't, I would not have this conversation. So, I mean, and you're going to need to do that professionally and in
Yeah.
friendships and everywhere. And I'm
Yeah.
just no longer going to shy away from those. I mean, I've always been pretty good at it, but I certainly take the easy way out sometimes because that's more fun and easier.
Yeah. I think that's a skill. I had a boss one time. She gave me a book. Where is it? Oh, Crucial Conversations. Because when I was younger, that was hard for me. I want to
Yeah,
please everybody, right? So this is
right.
called Crucial Conversations: Tools for Talking When Stakes Are High. So, I mean, I think that is something. I mean, obviously, there's a book at it, but there's, like, to be honest, I didn't read this whole book.
Mm,
I should, but you know, as a leader, she was like, "Hey, I noticed this with
mm-hmm,
you.
mm-hmm.
So
Well, and did
here's
you
some
respect her
tools."
for having that? Yeah, exactly. If you're going to have a difficult conversation, don't just have the difficult conversation, come with the solution. I'm
Yeah.
such a person of, like, I'm solution oriented. Don't come with problems, come with solutions.
Hmm.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. It was great, and I totally respected her for it, and I respected what she said, and I respected her. I didn't always agree with her, but I definitely respected, like, how she led, what she was doing, the examples that she was setting as a leader. Like, she was great. She was very good as well.
Listen, we'll never agree with 100% of everything ever from anybody. Not your best friend, not your husband, not your business partner, not your team. There will never be a time where we agree with 100% of everything, and just having the skill set, which I believe it can be developed. Obviously, somebody wrote a book about it. To be able to have those difficult conversations is something worth developing no matter what you do. Well, Colleen, I'd love to be a leader with you for the rest of the day, but Mama's got to go sell some houses.
Yeah, I got to go do some leading, right?
All right. Yes. Lead by example. I guess that's a
Okay.
good one to end with. Lead by
Yeah.
example.
Yeah. All right.
All right,
Love
guys. We'll
you.
see you next week. Mwah.
Bye.
That's a wrap. Thank you for joining us on this journey of laughter, life, and growth.
And remember, you're not alone on this path to success. We're right here with you every step of the way.
Please remember to hit that subscribe button so so you never miss an episode. And if you found value in today's conversation, we'd be thrilled if you would leave us a review on your favorite platform. Your feedback means the world to us.
And don't forget to share this podcast with your friends, family, and anyone who could use a good laugh and some practical insight into navigating the challenges and triumphs of our minds, body, soul, and business.
Remember, we're doing this right.